Meanwhile, in ice hockey, Coventry Blazers' new signing from the National Hockey League in America will make his debut this weekend. Forward Matt Beleskey, who plays for the Anaheim Ducks in the States, joins the Blaze because of a lockout that's currently hitting the sport. So what exactly is a lockout and how much of an impact will it have on the Coventry Blaze? Well, our reporter Nick Clitheroe is at the Sky Dome for us this lunchtime.
Yes, Katie. Well, a lockout is quite complicated, but in simple terms, I suppose it's a dispute between the players and the owners over how the revenue in ice hockey in the NHL is divided up. And the big thing is that no one knows quite how long this lockout could go on for. And that's why players like Matt here want to just get on with playing their game, and that's why you've come to England.
Hey, it's been 20 years of me playing hockey, and not being told you're not allowed to play is it's an interesting feeling. So I'm just happy with the opportunity to come here to Coventry and play some hockey.
So you're pretty excited when you got the call?
Definitely, just being able to play the game and come out here and enjoy the culture out here is it's going to be a great experience. And
you've had a chance to talk to a couple of friends of yours that are already playing over here about what English hockey's like.
Yeah, I've heard it's more of a North American game, just like we play back in Anaheim, and that suits me, and I'm excited for Sunday's game.
You've come straight off the plane, literally, and into your first practice session. What was that like?
It wasn't too bad. Slept a little bit on the plane. Starting to fade a bit now, but I'm sure I'll be fine.
And there's plenty of Canadians already on the team, so I'd imagine they've made you feel at home already.
Yeah, they definitely have. Some of them Western Canadians, but I got a couple Ontario boys here for me.
And obviously the fans are pretty excited about the fact that you're coming to play for the Blaze. Have you heard about the atmosphere here on game night?
Yeah, I heard. I've heard a lot about the atmosphere, so I'm really looking forward to Sunday, and I heard it's sold out, so it's going to be exciting. And
just tell us a little bit about your game, what they can expect to see from you.
I'm a power forward, so I'm going to play that physical game and hopefully put some offensive numbers up and show some leadership out there.
Matt, that's great. Best of luck, and you can see Matt in his first game here against Nottingham in the Challenge Cup this Sunday.
Nick, thank you very much.
So we'll confirm starting line for the Nottingham Panthers is on the forward line, David Clark at left wing, Matt Myers at centre, Anthony Stewart on the right hand side. On defence is Guillaume Lepine and Stevie Lee. For the Coventry Blaze, Matt Selby is right wing, Ross Venus is centre, Sam Smith at left wing, and Mike Shute and Ben Olsen on defence. Peter Hirsch and Craig Kowalski are the two goalies. The Blaze are playing in their black Challenge Cup jerseys, and referee Tom Darnell is enjoying his moment. Here we go. Blaze versus Panthers is off and running for the first time this season. Here's Guillaume Lepine. He'll tip the puck into the corner, and Ben Olsen will chase with Matt Myers behind him. Fed down the balls, nearly kept in by Stevie Lee, batted out of the air. The Panthers have to leave the zone though. Here's Mike Shute, top scoring defenceman in the Elite League so far this season, and he'll be a key player for the Blaze tonight, Ed.
Absolutely, Paul. He's definitely got the pundits talking about him positively, and fans alike as well, as Ross Venus watches his man in the corner. Here's Clark, throws one on net just high of Peter Hirsch. Anthony Stewart creating a bit of traffic in front.
It'll be collected by Shute and fed round the board. Smith will chase that. That'll probably go for icing though. Eric Werner will touch up. There we go. The Julie icing whistle. 46 seconds in for the Blaze versus Nottingham Panthers here on Coventry Blaze TV. And now here we see the Panthers' second line, which is many Elite League teams' first lines probably. It's Brandon Benedict, Bruce Graham and David Ling who will settle in. Face-off is won by the big figure of Bruce Graham. Fed down the boards now for Mark Levers, who's playing defence, surprisingly, normally a forward. David Ling was supposedly the big signing over the summer. He had a bit of a slow start to his campaign, but has settled in nicely. Struck some criticism from Panthers fans early on.
Then again, Nottingham Panthers fans have got a bit of a reputation of getting on the backs of their players. And coming into a new environment, David Ling's a bit of a journeyman over recent years, as he has a shot on Peter Hirsch. He draws a penalty for hooking as well, as I called that. We don't have a replay, unfortunately, tonight. That feature of the webcast is unavailable. But I was just saying about Ling, been a bit of a journeyman ever since he left North America. He's bounced around the Russian leagues where he's spent quite a lot of time. He's played 64 games in the KHL as well. That's a really tough league to crack, as well as he played in Italy last year and was 2 points a game. So coming over here, you would expect him to have roughly the same point per game average as the puck is at the point with Clark. Ling in the slot, it falls to Gallivan. A diving Hirsch wasn't troubled. Gallivan fanned on the shot. Lakovic's behind the net. Can't reel it in.
That was a nervous few seconds for the Coventry Blaze then. Peter Hirsch a little bit out of position. Dustin Cameron making a welcome return to the Blaze roster this evening after a few weeks out of injuries. Will chase that down. He and Shea Guthrie are at the penalty killing line. Guthrie wins it. Now Dave Clark will try and work his way up ice.
There's a soft penalty by Guthrie. He's going to take a slashing minor, which he was very disappointed at that call from Tom Darnell, putting the Nottingham Panthers on a 5-on-3 advantage. And that was a soft call though, Paul. He just gave the stick a bit of a wrap as I think it was Clark was coming up ice. No need to take that one.
Indeed, he should have. It's a definite one early on, and the Panthers have an early 5-on-3 power play, which is the kind of thing you cannot give a team with the skill of the Panthers. They've got their top line out of Clark, Myers, and of course Anthony Stewart for this 5-on-3 power play. So an early penalty kill for the Blaze. The puck is kept in by Lepine, fed for Stewart. He will try and find himself a bit of space. Stewart now drifts across, fed across space for Clark. If he can get the shot off Stewart in front of the net, puts it across, and it's very nearly reaches Matt Myers. That was a panic right there.
That was a great bit of hands there from Anthony Stewart as well. He traditionally gets parked in front of the net on the power play units in the NHL, and he showed just his little sleight of hand there with his back to the goal with a no-look pass. Puck's at the point. Shot comes in. It's blocked by Mike Shute. Guillaume Lepine, his first appearance at the Skydome for many a month. After being a little bit late coming to the party. Here's Myers.
We might see Guillaume Lepine. Ben Olsen dropped the gloves later on possibly, but Lepine meanwhile feeding there. The shot is saved, and the Blades are scrambling a little. They've got 35 seconds of 5-on-3 left to kill. Space for Clark. He'll shoot. It's padded away just wide. Greg Leib now tries to get in. The Blaze bench want a call there. Don't get one though. Will be fed up and away from the ice, and the pressure will be relieved. 3 minutes in here at the Skydome. It's still Genting Casino, Coventry Blaze 0, Nottingham Panthers 0. 13 seconds remaining on this 5-on-3. Panthers come into the zone again. Fed round the boards. Eric Werner, former Los Angeles King. He'll pick it up and try and throw the puck at the net. Instead, the Panthers moving the puck around. Blades have one man return to the ice. Fed across again to the back post. Gallivan can't get a touch on it. Space for Ling though. He'll work his way through. 30 seconds remaining on this power play for the Panthers. They're trying to almost pass the puck into the net. Possibly a little bit intricate here. You'd have thought they'd have fired a few more shots on Peter Hirsch here, Ed.
Yeah, but it's early days, and if they've got it right, Tom Donnell might be making a few more calls to try and keep control of this game. So they might get a few more chances on the man advantage and possibly just testing out what the Blaze penalty kill unit are like. These two haven't met very often yet this year. Here's Clark.
He'll work his way across, David Clark. And now Blaze have killed the 5-on-3. That'll give them a lift and a half. You can hear the Blaze crowd already cheering their efforts. Matt Myers will dump that one back in. Anthony Stewart is offside, as is Dave Clark. The whistle will go, and it'll be a face-off just outside the zone. I've got to say, this is the noisiest I've heard the Skydome for many a month.
Absolutely, and it's fantastic to hear as well. We saw on that power play a fantastic block from Mike Egener for the Coventry Blaze, another player that the pundits are very much enjoying his play. More of a defensive defenseman than perhaps the flashy Mike Shute, but absolutely they complement each other very well when they go on the penalty kill together. Here come the Coventry Blaze with Beleskey. He gets a big cheer from the Blaze crowd. Guthrie, a little bit of space across to Shute, who fires one over the top, and there's going to be a penalty drawn there. The Blaze will get their first power play as David Clark touches the puck.
And there's a little bit of pushing and shoving. David Clark is hugged from behind.
Here we go.
There might be some rough stuff going on here. Matt Beleskey skates away. He's in there somewhere. It's Shea Guthrie, I think, who was getting involved. No, Guthrie skated away, possibly James Griffin. It is Griffin.
I believe it was James Griffin. He has a reputation of getting very physical with the Nottingham Panthers, James Griffin. He wound up Sami Rahanen last year. Every time Rahanen came to the Skydome, it was James Griffin with a stick in his side, and he thoroughly miffed the Finn. And much to our delight last year, Paul. As you're feverishly checking Twitter, 4 minutes 25 gone here in the first period. The Coventry Blaze have their first power play after managing to kill a 5-on-3 chance for the Panthers. Guthrie waits over the face-off.
Interestingly, Mike Beleskey not on the ice for this first power play. Here's Greg Leib, who'll drive one. It's batted down in front of the net. Leib will feed it for Cameron behind the net. Greg Leib now, who is almost the quarterback of the power play along with Mike Shute. He's a very calm player. There's a broken stick for one of the Panthers as well.
That was from the Blaze. That was, I believe, Brad Leib. And there's a bit of confusion with who's going to jump on. Beleskey will take to the ice on this power play. Confusion behind the net. But Guthrie will pick up the loose puck. He'll advance with Beleskey in support. Guthrie with a nice hands and a good save by Kowalski as Guthrie trying to slip it fly for. We might get a breakaway here. If Matt Francis can dig that one out, he can't.
Indeed, he's a very underrated player, Matt Francis, last year. Blaze fans will remember him particularly as here goes Beleskey. Spot for Cameron, he can't feed it. Shute will try and hit one, he does, it's just wide. Shute will pick that one up and it'll go back to Greg Leib at the point. 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining on this Blaze power play. 5:22 gone. Here's Guthrie. Fed for the net. Neither Cameron or Beleskey can get a touch on it. Here is Beleskey now behind the net. Guthrie lurks. Beleskey tries to calm things down. Feeds Guthrie. We'll be back to Shute to the point. Greg Leib waits over this side for a pass if Shute can find him. He does. Shute. Now for Guthrie, fires one. It's free in front of the net. Cameron and Beleskey are both stood there. That's nice puck movement there, Ed.
Yeah, fantastic puck movement from the Coventry Blaze. It was very calm, very collected. There wasn't any urgency about it. They know they've still got another 43 seconds of power play left, and they just let the Nottingham Panthers defence collapse before they got a shot on net there, and it was very well done by the Blaze. And what we like to see, no hesitancy. And last year the fans wanted them to shoot on site, but this year I think they've got a little bit more confidence in the team on the special teams to move that puck around as Mike Bayrak lines up with Beleskey, double shifting on the right wing, and Ben Olsen. Here is Beleskey back to Shute at the point. Back to Mike Bayrak wearing number 9 tonight. Beleskey fires a no-look shot. It hits Olsen's skate. Back to Beleskey.
I'm not sure Kowalski knew where that was. Here's Bayrak now. Back to Beleskey on the right boards. He'll cut inside and throw one on net. Hits a teammate. Shute tries to get his feet. Beleskey has space. Tries one. And that one goes over the top. It hits somebody in front. I think Craig Kowalski might have got his blocker to it. Here's Stevie Lee now. Manages to get the puck out of the zone. 12 seconds remaining on this Blaze power play. Hirsch plays it for Egener. He will calm things down. 5 seconds remaining on the power play. It looks like the Panthers will survive this first power play. Matt Selby nearly gets to the rebound then as Kowalski padded that one, and my heart almost stopped because I thought that was going to drop right in front of Matt Selby with Craig Kowalski out of position. It's the Blaze third line out on the ice now.
Oh, good hit goes in behind the net by Ross Venus. Looking to bulk up a little bit. Paul Thompson was definitely trying to encourage him to get his backside down the gym more last year, but that was a nice little check behind the boards from Ross Venus. And if he can bulk up, he's about 5'11", so if he can get a few more pounds on him, he'll be definitely one to watch. Here's Griffin, dumps it round Beckett, and he got to nice again. Beckett's not happy with the young Burt from Swindon.
He's a little bit tasty, is Jason Beckett. He does like to get involved with the rough stuff. Guthrie did throw all of his did throw all of his 180 pounds or so into that check. Made a lovely rattle on the boards. I think if he caught Beckett, then we might have seen more than just a push and shove. The face-off though will travel the length of the ice for icing. So once again, it's the Blaze third line against the Panthers second line this time round.
Yeah, I guess that Beckett's problem with that was the whistle had just gone for the icing, so the indignity of being hit by a little Brit from Swindon rather than the Canadian in Jason Beckett. But he's already had a couple of scraps this year. I think he danced with Drew Fatter in the House of Steel a couple of weekends ago as Bruce Graham wins the draw. A little sleight of hand. Benedict.
Indeed, Bruce Graham is a strange player because when he was signed, everybody expected him to be prototypical power forward. Scouting reports, though, from the Allen Americans and the CHL said he's more of a skill player.
Absolutely. I think his size, he's got stereotyped as a power forward because, like you said, he is 6'6". He was the same as Chris McAllister, who was an NHL enforcer, but he didn't really enjoy dropping the gloves. He'd rather have just played a role as a defenseman. But, and I think that's kind of what the New York Rangers almost drafted him in the second round for. They saw a big guy that they could potentially mould into a power forward who would drop the gloves. But they've now got guys like Brandon Dubinsky who will happily do that. So I guess Bruce Graham lost out.
It's not often there's players that Ben Olsen has to look up at, but he did then with the little shove with Bruce Graham. The Blaze second line now out on the ice. The Lee brothers, Brad and Greg, along with Mike Bayrak. Here is Mike Shute, feeds Brad Lee, the silent assassin. Feeds it across for Bayrak to chase. He will collide with Beckett, nearly collides with Craig Kowalski, who's a long way out of his net to play the puck. Beckett will get to it. It's there! It's stuck into the back of the net. I didn't even see how that one went in.
It was Greg Lee with a speculative little effort short side on Kowalski. And I wish we could have a little look on the replay, but I think he just banked it in off the skate of the Nottingham Panthers netminder. The first Coventry Blaze goal, I believe, was Greg Lee on the near side. And the Genting Casino Coventry Blaze will take a 1-goal lead. And that one came out of nowhere, Paul.
Indeed, 7:40 gone. Genting Casino Coventry Blaze 1, Nottingham Panthers 0. And typically, it's tonight the replay doesn't work. We'll see if we can get that fixed in the first period break.
Yeah, we had a few of the media staff crowding around the screen who missed it as well, Paul. Not trying to watch that one. I think they were a bit miffed at us.
We'll try and confirm it was Greg Lee, as you said, Ed, who got the goal for the Coventry Blaze.
Maybe I shouldn't have retired after all.
Even-handed goal, scored and assisted by Greg Lee from the sounds of things. We'll see what the Blaze can do and if the Panthers respond now. Here goes Anthony Stewart. He'll bat the puck free. David Clark collides. Mike Shoup battling along the boards with Stewart. Now Olsen. Selby will tip that one in. Sam Smith will chase that one down along with Matt Myers, two former Cardiff Devils. David Clark now. Ross Venus barely keeps his footing as he goes into the boards. Myers spins away from Matt Selby, who's playing his second game of the weekend. He played for the NIHL Blaze yesterday against Solway Sharks. Here is Anthony Stewart. We'll see what he can do. That's a good pass, and it's very nearly tipped by Matt Myers. Bit of NHL quality there from Stewart.
That was a fantastic bit of heads-up play by Stewart. I mean, all the pundits say. I mean, I read the Hockey Times quite a lot, especially in this lockout season, to see what's going on. And Anthony Stewart, everyone says he's got the talent, a lot like his brother, but just the work ethic seems to have lacked. His career progressing a little bit further than I believe he's played 262 games in the NHL with about 71 points, and as a first-round draft pick, he's never really kind of climbed above the fourth and third lines. He's got a bit of time on the power play just to be stuck in front of net and some penalty kill time because of his size. But yeah, you'd expected him to have a little bit more of a increased career path coming out of the first round as the shot comes in from the point.
Driven on net, meanwhile, as the Blaze get their top line of Beleskey, Guthrie and Cameron out on the ice. The puck just crosses the blue line.
I think Tom Darnell's got a penalty actually there, Paul. I believe it's going to be a tripping minor on Guthrie. His second indiscretion of the evening.
Indeed, he has called a tripping minor on Guthrie.
Nah, tell a lie, it's off Cameron. And Dustin Cameron, Guthrie as captain was protesting it somewhat to Tom Darnell. So the Blaze will have to go on the penalty kill again. 8 minutes 50 gone in the first. They still lead 1-0 on the even-handed goal a few moments ago from Greg Lee.
Indeed, this will be familiar territory for Matt Beleskey. Used a lot as a penalty killer for the Anaheim Ducks, and an energy forward. There is Beleskey digging away along with Dave Clark. It's fed across though, bit of space for the Panther over the far side, fed behind the net. Here is Gallivan. Now David Ling. Fed in front of the net, it's free and just wide again. Peterhurst challenging the shooter there.
The Blaze got a little bit out of shape there on the penalty kills. The puck goes to Lee at the point. Poked away by Guthrie as Clark was winding up.
That was good play by Guthrie then, seeing the little shot and getting his stick in because Clark was ready to unleash one. Here is David Ling.
He's got a very underrated shot, David Clark, as well. Here's Lee. Drives low, the rebound. Squirts just free of Clark as Beleskey lands a good hit on Rob Lakovitz, possibly my favourite Nottingham Panther, Rob Lakovitz. As Guthrie tries a little bit of skill.
I think he was just trying to get the puck down ice, then Guthrie managed to do so. Now,
well, he held it up long enough for his team to change, so that was a good bit of play from the Blaze captain as Gallivan is held into the boards by little Greg Lee and cleared down the ice, much to the delight of the Blaze fans, who know that their team are halfway through this penalty kill.
Indeed, Gallivan is probably a player who's been a bit underserved in the signings over the off-season. He got impressive figures scoring in the ECHL, and when he originally signed for the Panthers, there was a lot of talk about him being amongst the top scorers in the league. He's very talented offensively is Pat Gallivan. Eric Werner, meanwhile, behind the net, who has a very amusing scouting report on elite prospects. Solid defensively, doesn't contribute offensively, and not a very good shot. So
well, that's interesting considering he's almost half a point a game in the American League.
Indeed, here is Werner. He'll feed Francis. Winds one up and drives one just wide. Matt Francis, it's fed again, still free. Hirsch isn't sure where it is, it's eventually cleared. 10 seconds remaining on the penalty kill for the Coventry Blaze. That'll probably just about kill it.
That was a little snapshot in tight from Matt Francis as Peter Hirsch was sprawling, Brandon Benedict, as Hirsch was sprawling and it just hit the paddle of the netminder. He had a lot of room to shoot in on that rebound as the puck's cleared by Guthrie. That might be an icing, although Craig Kowalski's going to just come out and intercept it.
11 minutes gone. It feels like it's a lot less than that. Big check from Ben Olsen over there in the corner. Now collected by Chalmers. Will be fed off the balls, poked away by Guthrie. Now here's Cameron, plays the puck behind Guthrie. However,
he ran out of room there, Dustin Cameron. He was going to get pinched by 2 Panthers players. I think he was worried about a big hit coming off an injury. That's the last thing you want.
And now the puck will be fed across, and we'll see who can work his way in. It's Stevie Lee. Shot is dealt with by Peter Hirsch, checking the corner meanwhile as an official has to get out the way. This is a game with a lot of collisions. Gallivan gets tied up, the whistle goes at 11:41. Let's see if we can keep an eye on things as the face-off works its way through, and now we'll see the second line of the Blaze out on the ice once again. Guillaume Lepine. Now Rob Lakovic will feed the puck into the corner. Gallivan, as the Panthers try and work themselves a bit of space. The Blaze leading 1-0, of course, thanks to a goal from Greg Lieb a few minutes ago. Panthers all collision between James Griffin and Gallivan.
That was a nice little hit from Griffin. He got a little bit out of shape there, positioning wise for his skating, so instead of just trying for the poke check, just stuck his shoulder out. And here's Bradley with a low shot, sticked away by Craig Kowalski.
I think Gallivan gave Griffin the old 1,000-yard stare then. Bayrak has a big shot, it's put just wide by Brad Lieb. Snapshot in front of the net. Kowalski looks a little nervous with the whirling mass of black and white and yellow in front of him. Here is Greg Lieb. Now a bit of space. Shot from Brad Lieb, it hits. And Bradley puts a slash in and is shoved by Francis.
A little cross-check in the back there from
And
Matt
Lepine
Francis.
is still going.
Egener
and now Egener wants to go. Here we go.
Egener gets a few rights from Lepine. He'll have to respond. He can't as Lepine dump tackles him. And fair play for Mike Egener to stand up for his teammate there. But he was outmatched by the pugilistic skills of Guillaume Lepine. His first fight at the Sky Dome this year. But Mike Egener will definitely get a big standing ovation from the Blaze fans, not for winning the fight, but just for stepping up. And that's what the spirit of this Coventry Blaze team is all about. It doesn't matter if you've got 100 fights on your fight card or 1. If you need to step up for your teammates, you will do so. And Mike Egener proving that just there, Paul.
Indeed, it was quite surprising that Egener there, because there was a lot of pushing and shoving, and Bradley did give Lepine a nasty slash across the ankles to settle that off, which he appears to have got away with.
Yeah, I think so there, Paul. But it's interesting that Mike Egener took on Guillaume Lepine for another reason. He was joking with one of his teammates from last season, saying, hey, I'm on course for under 100 penalty minutes so far. He usually gets into a handful of scraps every year and takes a few kind of charging minors, a few elbows here and there, just because he likes to throw the body around as a second-round draft pick. But, yep, I think if he carries on like this, he might end up over that 100 penalty minute mark, Paul.
Indeed he will. He's calming himself down. There's a bit of a discussion going on over there. I think David Clark is trying to
I think they
point
want
out
an instigation minor there, Paul, because Egener's gloves were off before Guillaume Lepine. That is a sure thing sign of getting a 2-minute minor, but I think that they're going to say the cross-check in the back was enough instigation. We're going to have 5-on-5, as Tom Darnell indicates. There's 12 minutes 42 gone in the first period. We've had a goal and a fight so far, as this is a very, very entertaining game for the 100 or so people watching at home, as well as the 3,000 people here in the Sky Dome, Paul.
Indeed, we'll see what occurs. Ben Olsen puts a hit in, and Eric Werner gets involved as well. The puck, meanwhile, is with Stephen Chalmers behind the net. Beleskey will collide with Werner, as the intensity level, it was already high, but it appears to have stepped up another little bit of space for Levers to play the puck round the boards. It's fed in front, space for Graham if he can get to it. The whistle goes, and that was a very early whistle then. The puck was free then. I think referee Tom Darnell thought Hirsch had the puck covered, but it had squirmed free.
It was an early whistle, I think, by Tom Darnell, Paul, and I think he's shown a little bit of nerves controlling this game. He's definitely called a few soft penalties early to try and keep control of this one. Notoriously, this game has been built up for the last 7 days, especially with the Matt Beleskey and the Anthony Stewart signing. So I think it's important for him to make some calls to keep control of this one, but I think he packed a little bit early on his whistle there, as you mentioned.
So the face-off will take place outside the zone. It's won by Ross Venus. Here is Mike Shute now. Works his way up ice and into the zone. David Clark goes with a high elbow space for Selby. It's saved by Kowalski.
Oh,
and
wow.
free again.
Matt Selby found himself in so much room there, Paul. I'm a little bit disappointed that he didn't let a shot go quicker, because he skated himself further out to the right, decreasing his percentage of hitting the twine and beating Craig Kowalski, and then eventually he just fired it straight into his stomach. So a little bit of inexperience there from Selby. I think he just wanted to get a little bit closer before letting one go, but he decreased his chances with the angle he skated into, but he found himself in loads of space, and that could have easily been 2-0.
Here goes Stewart at speed, takes on James Griffin and beats him. So a little bit of NHL speed there from Anthony Stewart. That's the puck again, holds off Mike Shute. Battling away, the puck eventually reaches Sam Smith. He can't clear the puck though. It's thrown towards the net by Stewart. Now with David Clark. He'll try and feed one for Stewart again. Shot from Clark, that comes off Peter Hirsch's pads, or possibly a stick in front. Definitely slowed down abruptly.
They did it. I think it was a little bit of a deflection on its way through to Peter Hirsch's pads from the Panthers forward in front. Stevie Lee advances, chips it through to Rob Lakovitz, who's stopped by the stick of Bayrak as Brad Lieb comes in. Here's Gallivan. Ball goes straight into the glove of Lieb, and this could be a 2-on-1 with Bayrak. Lieb shoots low, and it's in the skate of Gallivan, who flings it away with his hand. Tom Darnell doesn't see it. And we're going to
Sorry, Ed.
I was just going to say, you're right, Paul. I think that was a little bit of a hand pass there from Gallivan, trying to clear the zone. I think there's been some inconsistent calls on what the official rule is on the hand pass. I've seen a couple of different referees call a couple of different things.
Indeed, Paul. It's Tom Darnell looks a little bit nervous, and for you North Americans watching, keep an eye on number 45 for the Panthers, Stevie Lee. He's probably the best defenseman we have in Britain at the moment. He's definitely one of the brightest prospects of the British game. He's worth watching, along with number 15 for the Blaze, James Griffin. Here goes Benedict. He'll throw one on net. It's blocked. Now David Link will get shoved into the boards by Stephen Chalmers. Graham.
He gets a new contract every year very early for the Nottingham Panthers, Stephen Lee, and I'm wondering if he might delay it at the end of this season to see if he gets any interest abroad. Here come the Coventry Blaze on the wing. It's Beleskey shoots! The second shot of the night for the Coventry Blaze.
And that was very close then. The roar, if that had gone in, would have been special on a Panther. Gets
that is
behind the
Beleskey.
net, and Stevie Lee wants back Beleskey. Here we go. Beleskey drops gloves and helmet, throwing right hand. Stevie Lee already holding on, and that's a win, Beleskey. I think we can hear the roar from the Skydome from that one.
Oh boy, Beleskey with a huge hit behind the net. And Stevie Lee, we were just mentioning him, and he did exactly what we'd expect of Stevie Lee there, a tough little stocky defenseman. He didn't care that he was taking on an NHLer who likes to throw the gloves on the ice and throw the fists. And that was a nice little whistle for Matt Beleskey on his debut. He's had 2 shots so far and a fight, and the Blaze fans love him. Paul.
They do indeed love Beleskey. I'm just calming down for a second or two, because from nowhere, this game has already had enough action for a normal game. In the first 15 minutes and 37 seconds, the Blaze fans already chanting Matt Beleskey's name and his family, Joe Beleskey and his family over there, we understand, are watching in Canada. You'll have enjoyed that one. Your boy is an instant legend over here.
Ooh-wee. I'll tell you what, if I remember rightly, Wade Belak, when he came and played for the Blaze, scored a goal on his debut and got offered a couple of fights by Jeff Owasco at the Basingstoke Bison, and that was a fantastic showing from Matt Beleskey. And we just got a message up here saying that's what you get when you take on an NHLer. And absolutely right, Matt Beleskey fighting Stevie Lee. We've also seen Mike Egener take on Guillaume Lepine, and a goal from Greg Lee. Well done. Coventry Blaze webcast cost £7.95, and it's been worth every single penny so far.
It has indeed. We'll see what we get from this one. Obviously, coincidental penalties for Stevie Lee and Matt Beleskey. So we'll see who settles down. Don't forget, you can contact us on either @Blaze Webcast or also at fourth line wing. Hello to Simon Kerry and family who are watching in Cardiff, and they love watching us as well. So we hope you've enjoyed it so far. We certainly are.
Absolutely. I've come out of retirement for this game, Paul, and boy oh boy, I really picked a game to come back up to the Midlands.
I was going to say, you pick the big ones, don't you?
Oh yeah. Well, I couldn't have you doing this on your own. You go horse. Here's Francis. Shoots straight into the stomach of Hirsch. And the Blaze defence, interestingly there, collapsed straight on Hirsch emphatically to protect him. So I think we've seen 2 fights tonight, and I think we may see a couple more, Paul. This is definitely a very heated game as Dale White takes to the ice for his first shift of the night, getting a few instructions from head coach Paul Thompson, as he will line up with Matt Selby and Ross Venus. A very impressive prospect, Dale White, who got his kind of contract extended for the Coventry Blaze to play in the Elite League team rather than the NIHL team after scoring a goal on his debut.
Indeed, he's scored a goal yesterday for the NIHL Blaze as well, so he's definitely one to watch. Former product of the Oxford City Stars and the Solihull Barons. David Clark has to pull that one in. He's chased by Matt Selby. You've got the president of Great Britain, Great British Hockey in the future there battling. Here's White.
Oh, a big hit from Myers goes in on Dale White, and Olsen's going to have a little word.
I think White's reaction to that, the Panther actually ended up on his backside, so not quite the intended result from Matt Myers.
Well, he took a run at him as Stewart goes for a hit on Olsen. And I'm sure if Ben Olsen wanted to, he could go to the NHL into a fight. Here's James Griffin. Shoots high and a good glove save by Kowalski. He didn't look too sure. Here's Olsen. Stick handles. Shoots and a good pad save by Kowalski. Again, that was a good bit of work from Olsen, who's regained possession for the Blaze after a good poke check.
Olsen gets taken down by Werner, cynically.
I believe that was
It was a Cameron who went down, in fact.
Absolutely, yeah. And Ben Olsen looking on. I don't think he thought anything was untoward with Eric Werner in that play. But my goodness, Paul, I bet you're glad you're not doing this one on your own, because I don't know about you, but my throat's getting a little bit dry very quickly here.
Indeed, I'm looking forward to the period break to go and get a drink. That'll come in about 3 minutes and 10 seconds or so. 16:51 gone in the first period here at the Skydome. The Genting Casino Coventry Blaze lead the Nottingham Panthers 1-0. Now it's fed along the boards by the Panthers. Ling. Beckett will try and clear it. He loses the puck again. You can see the Blaze are up for this one. They've lowered the game. Cameron. Guthrie throws one on net. Sam Smith tries to pick it up. Shoot is there as well. And it'll be fed for Dustin Cameron, who is very much an up-and-down player, becoming a fan favourite at the Blaze already. Spent a few weeks out through injury.
Good two-way player as well, Cameron. He's got a fantastic shot, really good natural eye for the net, or what his scout reports say from the East Coast. Coming into this year, here's Shea Guthrie, a man with possibly the best hands in the league. And he excited everybody in a rather drab season last year for the Blaze. Earned his captaincy badge. Here he is. Tries to stick handle around Werner, and that's poked away.
Meanwhile, and the chant of 1956 goes up, which is fairly standard. That's the last time the Nottingham Panthers won the British League title. Panthers fans elect to retain a dignified silence, as they do most of the time at the National Ice Centre. Here we go. Puck is now fed away for Werner. He'll dump that one back in space for Francis. Will fire one. Good save by Peter Hirsch. They'll be shoved into the boards. Lakovic will try and get to it.
I don't like seeing Matt Francis given that much space to let off a shot, Paul. He showed last year he had a point a game in the Elite League with 20 goals as well, so he knows he can hit the back of the net at this level at will.
Indeed, his family are watching tonight. Ernie Francis over in Canada, so hello to them. Your boys having a good game. Meanwhile, Levers will feed that one across. Werner, stocky little figure, fed for Brad Lieb, and the Panthers fans finally decide to make some noise. They've been a little quiet this first period. We're moving towards the final minute of the first period. Blaze fans respond. This is the best of British hockey we're seeing right here at the moment, with fan interaction and noise as Myers touches up for the icing call with exactly 1 minute remaining.
Wow, that burst of noise from the Skydome here really caught me by surprise, Paul. It was loud and proud from the Coventry Blaze fans, and I get a little bit more noise than most people with the microphone, picking up a lot of the excess noise in here, and I had to lift my earphones off, and that's a fantastic thing to hear. I mean, I don't mind going a little bit deaf in the ears to hear the Blaze fans shouting like that as we have exactly 1 minute to go in the final period. That's been action-packed, and I don't think we're done yet. This is going to be a game that's fought right till the last buzzer of every period as the face-off's won by Guthrie.
Indeed. Meanwhile, scores elsewhere. Belfast and Sheffield faced off at 5 p.m. The latest score we have from there is 1-1. So a tight game going on between the Giants and the Steelers. Meanwhile, Guthrie loses the puck. This is good play from Matt Myers behind the net. Shoot gets a stick in.
It was really good interference there by David Clark and Stephen Chalmers, as Clark was trying to make some room as a pick to get Matt Myers on net unattested, but he couldn't quite get round to having a shot on Peter Hirsch. We have 30 seconds left, and I've got to say the Panthers really do that well, run their interference plays, the little screens. Dave Ling will take it behind the net.
They run them very well, but they look a little bit harried, the Panthers. Jason Beckett just then looked a little bit nervous, curving back and forth in front of his own net to try and break out. That's a good pass though for Gallivan, and the whistle goes. Gallivan was adjudged to be offside then. That was a very narrow one.
Yeah, I think you're right there about the narrow, but back to saying the Nottingham Panthers look a bit harried. They are without, don't forget, Corey Nielsen, Jonathan Weaver, and of course their captain Jordan Fox, who I am a big fan of, one of the best two-way centres I have seen at the Nottingham Panthers, and he's also their captain, so with it being without him, you're definitely getting a little bit harried. Although they have given the captaincy badge to David Clark, I believe, while Fox is out, and he's been at the Nottingham Panthers well since I can remember. Here's Werner as he chips it out the zone, and the buzzer will go for the end of the first period. And oh my goodness, what an entertaining period of play that was, and both fans will respect that on their feet with applause. But Paul, the second period and the third period are going to be absolutely knackering for both teams who are a little bit short-benched if it keeps on like this.
Indeed, I think they're going to be time for us. If you can smell smoke at home, it's because you've got an absolute barn burner going on here. The Panthers and the Blades have set the Sky Dome on fire in the first period. They lead 1-0 thanks to a goal from Greg Lieb in the 9th minute. But I think, Ed, there's a lot more to come in this game, definitely.
Absolutely, folks. I think we're going to see some more hits, some more fights, and almost certainly some more goals. So
Welcome back to the second period of the Genting Casino Coventry Blaze versus the Nottingham Panthers here at the Skydome Arena in Coventry with me, Paul Wheeler, and of course Ed Kimberley. We've spent the period break getting our voices back after an absolute barn burner of a first, and we understand we have a few people watching who we should probably say hello to.
Yeah, I just want to say a big hello to Nick Bonino, the Anaheim Duck as well, who is watching his teammate Matt Beleskey play for the Coventry Blaze, and he sent us a nice little tweet at Blaze Webcast. So a big hello to him, who's sitting and watching us on a very slow Saturday. So it's great to have an NHLer watching his compatriot here, and we hope you are enjoying the coverage so far, and we encourage you all at home to get in touch with us at Blaze Webcast. We've also got a few other people watching. We mentioned the Beleskey family, and of course we have the Guthrie family watching. We have Philip Myers, a relative of Matt Myers. A big hello to you, and Ernie Francis, a relative of Matt Francis as well. So we are lining up before the puck drop for the start of the second period. The Genting Coventry Casino Blaze leading by a score of 1-0. And Paul, I am still high on the adrenaline from that action in the first period.
Indeed, so am I. We've got 2 more periods to come, hopefully. The opening face-off is won by the Panthers. Here is Eric Werner, who will calmly settle behind his net. Has a bit of space to bring the puck out. Onion chopping as he makes his way up the ice, back and forth. And
onion chopping.
I've been criticised for doing that on the way up the ice as well.
Are you saying his stick handling brings tears to your eyes?
If it's good enough, if it's done by a Panther, definitely.
Yeah.
But 17 seconds in, and the puck is brought outside the zone for an offside. So we'll see what occurs after this next face-off. It's won by the Panthers again. Werner.
It's a good win by Miles in that face-off. He had to have 2 bites at the cherry with Ross Venus as well, trying to win that face-off against the established Panther. Here come the Panthers up the ice, chipped in by Clark. Hirsch will knock that one down.
Nervous few seconds then. He nearly fed Matt Myers, Peter Hirsch, as he just tried to play it around the ball. Save it's the Panthers NHL of Anthony Stewart. The puck is free, eventually cleared away by the Blaze, and goes all the way back to Mark Levers, who's playing defence tonight, normally a forward. Now Stewart finds a bit of space and releases a shot. It's padded by Hirsch. He will turn away again with Mike Shute. And now Bruce Graham, as Corey Nielsen appears to have changed his lines ever so slightly. Stewart now. Brandon Benedict wants a pass. Nearly gets one from Stewart. Instead, the puck is fed back to Beckett. Now Mike Bayrack just avoids a hit. Now Blaze work their way up the ice. Here goes Beleskey, fires one. It's padded away and will be collected by Greg Lee. Now, once again, forced against the boards is Bradley. Goes down. Picks himself up again.
That's Guillaume Lepine, who was hassling Bradley against the boards. He had a scrap in the first with Mike Egener, who is also back for his first shift after his respective 5-minute major penalties. Here is Beckett. Comes through the neutral zone with Benedict. He will chip it behind Mike Bayrack. Egener checked by Ling as he played it behind Hirsch, and now here come the Blaze up ice. It's Griffin, skating hard, but he's got Rob Lakovitz all over him like a cheap suit. And the Blaze will have to just chip it in to avoid the offside call. Here's Werner.
He will turn, feed the puck up the ice. Werner, it's fed for Lakovitz, who goes into the zone and back out. That will be icing, which is waved off. Gallivan will chase the puck along with Levers. The Panthers buzzing around the zone like the bumblebees that their shirts resemble, desperately trying to get a shot off. Here is Gallivan again, battling with Sam Smith. He looks very small and very shifty indeed, Gallivan. This is obviously our first sight of all the Panthers.
I don't think he looks that small. He's a little bit shorter than Sam Smith, who's about 6 foot. As a shot from Cameron goes into the tummy of Craig Kowalski. And after 2 minutes, Matt Beleskey and Stephen Lee return to the ice. A big roar for the Anaheim Duck in Matt Beleskey. And we said hello to Nick Bonino, who is watching at home, and we hope he's enjoying his friend and teammates play tonight, and I'm sure he'll get a few ribs after that fight via email or some various social media method.
Meanwhile, face-off, interesting decision. They once again put out the third line of Sam Smith, Ross Venus and Matt Selby. Ben Olsen is beaten by Anthony Stewart, David Clark battling with Stephen Chalmers in the corner. Clark, one of the best British forwards of them on there. In fact, is the all-time leading Elite League point scorer. And he's free in front of the net. Meanwhile, Stewart goes for a wraparound. Olsen is shoving away on Stewart. The two collide again. That's two big heaps of flesh meeting each other over there. Now, Stevie Lee looking none the worse for his scrap with Beleskey. Manages to pull the puck in eventually. Guthrie is on the forecheck. It's fed down the ice for Matt Myers to dump in. Now, Hirsch. Myers will collect. Feeds across. Beleskey. Look at the speed of Matt Beleskey. He's breaking up the right-hand side. Has to spin. Gets back in and looked like he was hooked then for a second or two.
He took a little hook from Myers. Glanced over his shoulder as if to say, is that the only way you can slow me down, sir? All right, bring it on. Shoot, we'll clear the zone. Beleskey can't get around the big body of Guy Lepine along the boards. Benedict chips it into the zone. That was a good bit of play. Here come the Panthers. Shot low, saved by Hirsch.
That was Bruce Graham who got the shot off, battling with James Griffin.
Who's lost his stick, incidentally. James Griffin's to the Blazer, essentially. Half a man down. As Griffin will go into the corner. There's not a lot he can do there. He'll hit Brandon Benedict anyway.
And he's just going to stand in front of the net, is Griffin, and try and move Benedict as much as he can. He can't do much to play the puck without a stick. Meanwhile, fed across, space for Graham. If he can get the shot off, he thinks about it. Graham is padded away. And now David Ling will pick the puck up. Now Lakovic, very good young British player, fed for Graham. Intercepted by Mike Shute. Feeds the puck away, and now there'll be space for Dustin Cameron to gain the Panthers zone. And it is to just dump Mark Levers on his backside. Feeds Beleskey now. Beleskey works for space. Finds the shot. Beleskey, it's saved. Doesn't get the rebound as Gallivan gets his stick in, and now the Panthers can come the other way. 2-on-1. Gallivan with space. Shoots Gallivan. Good save, Peter Hirsch.
Fantastic save by Peter Hirsch. Another Blaze defenseman loses his stick. That's Egener on that play. And as has Greg Lieb. I think he lost his stick there, but he's picked one up from somewhere. Checked by Chalmers.
There's a desperation defence from the Blaze here with two sticks missing. Hirsch will hold on to that one. Good passage of play for the Nottingham Panthers. 5 minutes in to the second period, and the Panthers have clearly decided that they want to get back into this goal fast and early.
Absolutely, Paul, but it was a fantastic passage of play also for the Blaze at the other end. Matt Beleskey, his third shot of the night, saved by the blocker of Kowalski. He found himself in a lot of room. One of the Panthers defensemen, I think it was Graham who was covering him, blew out his edge behind the net, and Beleskey had enough time to toe drag a wrist shot high, and it was a good save by Kowalski. We know Beleskey has a fantastic shot on him, one of his stronger parts of his game, according to the scout reports. And he nearly got his first Blaze goal. Here's Clark. Sends it into the slot. It's picked off by Lieb. Here's his brother Greg. Chips it. Trying to get around the Panthers defence when he was hacking and chopping like a lumberjack on overtime. Shoot. Fires one low. It's chipped over Kowalski. He didn't know where it was, but just went over the net. Here's Bayrak. Shoots as well, and that was tipped out the air by Greg Lieb. That was heading for the cage of Craig Kowalski, so I'm pretty sure he's happy that one was tipped away. No goalie likes taking one in the face ball.
Indeed, and Craig Kowalski seen a lot of rubber, as has Peter Hirsch. Like being a cat on the M1, the amount of rubber they're seeing coming at them, the pair of them.
Because they drive on the M1 to get to Coventry, and now the Panthers. I liked it very much.
We'll see though. The pressure will temporarily be on Peter Hirsch's goal. Certainly the Panthers will want to get the pressure on Peter Hirsch's goal. The face-off is to the left of Coventry Blazers' Danish netminder. Bruce Graham will settle in for the face-off.
He really is
a water bottle on the ice as well.
He really is a big boy, Bruce Graham. I mean, I was trying to think who the tallest player to play in the Elite League was. It was either Steve McKenna or Jeff Owasco. I think they were both 6'7". Bruce Graham's 6'6", but he really is an imposing figure.
Indeed, he's only an inch short of Bruce Graham, and there was a lot of excitement about his potential a few years ago before his career appeared to have stalled a little, and he became a very good minor league player. Obviously, as Ed said, he was drafted by the New York Rangers. Meanwhile, Guillaume Lepine loses the puck to Bayrak. Bayrak feeds that round the boards for Brad Lieb. Greg Lieb picks the puck up behind the net. Ben Olsen is lurking at the point. Greg Lieb feeds Breg. Tries to get a shot off. It's fed away. David Ling will chase now, the 37-year-old, very experienced player. Graham manages to keep the puck in. Ling is at the back post, doesn't get a shot off.
Oh, wow. You don't expect Ling to fan there as Lepine shoots Hirsch was way out of his net and Benedict couldn't bring in the rebound. It's going to be a 3-on-2 for the Blaze. Here's Bayrak. Holds up, looks for the pass in the slot. Shoot fires on the trail. Greg Lieb on the rebound, and it was bobbling. And 2 saves by Kowalski in the space of 2 seconds. Keeps this a 1-goal game. Fantastic net minding from the Nottingham Panther.
Indeed, the Sky Dome responds, both sets of fans respond to that passage of play. Nottingham Panthers to their goalie, Craig Kowalski, who has been amongst the best goalers in the Elite League since coming over last season. One of the top goalers, if not the top save percentage. He struggled a little more this season, got a shutout though last night as the team settle in. Meanwhile, Edinburgh lead Fife 1-0 in the other big British derby taking place tonight. Hirsch collides with one of his own defencemen.
That was Matt Francis of the Nottingham Panthers, who had his head down with the puck and looked up and he saw he was right under the grill of Hirsch. There was no intent there, but I kind of hope that he gets a little bit more spatial awareness. You don't like to run into the other team's goalie. You tend to invoke some fists in your face coming quite rapidly if you do that usually, Paul.
Indeed, Francis goes offside, so there will be a face-off that will take place just outside the Blaze zone. 7:15 gone. Blaze lead the Nottingham Panthers 1-0 here on Blaze TV. And Stewart and Beleskey, the 2 NHLers, are lined up next to each other.
Well, there's a photo opportunity. There's a photo opportunity for you, Paul, as David Clark winds one up, fires, block it away by Hirsch. Oh, that's a nice little chip by Beleskey along the boards. Great awareness from the NHLer. His pass in the slot's picked off by Matt Myers, who was trailing. He gets hit hard by Cameron.
And you can see Beleskey's speed is scaring the Panthers. When every time he gets a bit of space, they're backing off him. They don't want to commit because he'll just blow by them.
Absolutely. I mean, he's not the prettiest of skaters, Matt Beleskey, by any means. He's a very choppy style. Reminds me a little bit of Joel Poirier in how he gets himself around the ice. But my goodness, he's like a shark. One quick flick of that tail and he was up the ice like a greyhound out of the traps chasing a rabbit.
Indeed, he's settling in on the left wing on this shift is Beleskey, along with Shea Guthrie and Dustin Cameron. Not a bad debut so far. He's had a fight. He's had several shots.
I think he's on 4 on goal now, Paul.
He looks like he'll possibly be settling in, and obviously there's nothing better. The vast majority of the Skydome would like more than to get a goal. Big hit on
Lepine.
Yeah, Lepine then.
That was Mike Egener. They had a little scrap earlier in the first period. I don't think Egener made his point in that scrap, but he definitely did with that hit. And Guillaume Lepine looked around to take the number of that truck.
Indeed, Lepine will settle himself down. Meanwhile, here goes Guthrie, laid it off for Beleskey, throws one and hits a referee. That's going to be a stinger off the skate, and now there's a breakaway the other way. It is Bruce Graham who pulls up, and great save by Peter Hirsch, and then he's dumped on his backside by Egener. The puck works its way through. Peter Hirsch stands up to the 6'6" Bruce Graham and puts his shot away. Meanwhile, play is still going on. Dustin Cameron as a slasher defenseman. Here's David Ling at the other end who fakes and shoots. Great save, Hirsch. 8:41 gone in this second period, and the game has suddenly stepped up about 3 levels.
Here we go. I think we might have a scrap. Ben Olsen's offering Guy Lepine. I think Lepine's more interested in leaving the ice.
Hello. It's all suddenly got very tasty again.
Well, Ben Olsen's openly invited Guy Lepine for a bout of fisticuffs whenever he should so wish. But yeah, there was a little bit of a hacking and chopping between Cameron and Lepine, as you mentioned before. Ling went up the other end. I was keeping an eye on the action off the play. And yeah, I think we're going to see the 2 heavyweights have a go later on in the evening, because Guillaume Lepine seems like that first fight hasn't deterred him from getting a little bit choppy with his stick. And well, Cameron responded as well.
So, typically,
I'm just being told that the door that Guy Lepine got checked into by Mike Egener has suffered some damage, and the referee Tom Darnell, down there is trying to repair it. Excuse me. I think Tom Darnell's now the near side. Dominic Corey Nielsen, so the other referee is.
That's what, £400 worth of
yeah.
Canadian flesh smashing into that door over there.
Well, interestingly enough, what we just saw there, that big hit by Egener, is one of the reasons that he was a 2nd-round pick for the Los Angeles Kings, because Egener throws the body really well. That's one of his strongest assets of his game. And for whatever reason, he never made it into the NHL, but he had several call-ups but never actually got to put on the black, purple and silver jersey of the LA Kings. But if he can throw more hits like that, he's definitely going to be able to change the atmosphere in the Sky Dome, because the reaction was electric.
Indeed, we'll see what happens when the game eventually kicks off again. There's a bit of Gangnam Style going on in various points around the rink. Hopefully the puck will drop and spare us from this one. It does so. David Ling loses the face-off. Olsen chased by Bruce Graham. Those two collide. The puck goes up and off the glass and
It's going to be
behind.
a penalty against Olsen for delay of game, I think there. Well, they're going to give a member of the Coventry Blaze a delay of game call. It might not be Olsen, excuse me. His D partner James Griffin they're going to send to the box for 2, as that puck didn't come off anything before it left in their own zone. So a bit of a soft call there, but these things do happen, and the Coventry Blaze will have to go on a penalty kill for 2 minutes here. They lead 1-0, 8 minutes 47 gone here in the second period, Paul.
Indeed, and it's 2-0 to Edinburgh against Fife. Rennie Yarrelin with his second. So there's battles going on both north and south of the border. This is the biggest rivalry, certainly in recent years, in British ice hockey. The Coventry Blaze versus the Nottingham Panthers. The Panthers traditionally consider the Sheffield Steelers their main rivals, but it's probably more the Steelers than the Panthers who care about that one now. Dumped in by Lepine, particularly one certain Brummie estate agent. Puts fed off the boards meanwhile, and it will be collected by David Clark. He'll feed Werner. Werner dumps it in for Gallivan. Now fed along the boards. There's a tweet from a Blaze fan. Bruce Graham maybe 6'5", but he plays like 5'6". Thanks, Nick Easy, for that one.
I'm not sure. I think looking at his pictures that Nick Easy may in fact be a Nottingham Panthers fan. So
no, he's definitely a Blaze fan. I think he'll not be impressed. You've just called him a Panthers fan.
Excuse me there, sir.
Wash your mouth out, sir.
Gallivan.
Meanwhile.
Well, I know I was talking to a couple of Nottingham Panthers fans called Nick, trying to get them to watch the Blaze webcast for tonight's game. So I got a little bit confused there. Excuse me, I don't want to call any Blaze fan a Panthers fan. I believe that's sacrilegious.
Certainly in this part of the world. This is probably British hockey's version nowadays of Detroit versus Colorado. The two teams really do not like each other. Meanwhile, Bruce Graham loses the puck. Here goes Mike Egener at speed down the left-hand side. He has a player in the centre. Egener digs his free for Bayrak as well, but it's padded away by Craig Kowalski. Laid off now for Stevie Lee, who we were talking about earlier as one of the top British players to keep an eye out on. Possibly my try is looking North America in a few years' time. He's only in his early 20s, Stevie Lee. Here goes Benedict, throws one on net. It nearly sneaks through. Stewart's in front of the net, but Peter Hirsch holds on.
Halfway through the game now, Paul. 10 minutes, 20 seconds gone here in the second. We've had 30 minutes of action, and honestly, we've had more action in the first 30 minutes of this game than we see in most games in the entire 60.
Indeed, two fights, only one goal, but two fights, hits galore. You know, two teams that really hate each other, and you can see it coming out every single shift. This as well is a Challenge Cup game, so will not count for league points. And a shot then from Matt Francis, but padded away by Hirsch, and it will be chased by Guthrie as Kowalski comes out to play it. Selected by Benedict, fed across now for David Ling, who'll wind up and drive one, and Hirsch holds on again. He's done well tonight so far, Peter Hirsch.
Indeed, well, he's done everything that's been asked of him so far, making some big saves on the Bruce Graham breakaway, for instance, earlier in this period, and very good performances by the Danish netminder. Big game player, Peter Hirsch. He always comes to life in these big encounters, and he's definitely not disappointed. The puck will be dropped as Matt Myers lines up for the face-off with Guthrie. 10 seconds left of this Panthers power play. It's won by Myers through the legs of Guthrie, and his line mate, I think it was David Clark, nearly got a shot off.
It's a nervous minute or two for the Blaze. They've obviously only got a one-goal lead. They're back to full strength now, though. James Griffin heads for the bench, and Matt Beleskey steps back onto the ice as the Blaze return to full strength with their top line now. Here's Ben Olsen, former Bridgeport Sound Tiger and NHL draft pick. Here goes Beleskey. Now dumps in again. Behind the net, Matt Beleskey goes for the wraparound. Kudolski isn't sure where the puck is. It's still free. Cameron eventually is shoved away. Beleskey tries to put a hit in. It's avoided this time.
It's interesting that it's Guy Lepine. He's not rattled by Ben Olsen's challenge of fisticuffs. He's still playing his hard-nosed game, and I really respect Guy Lepine and what he does back there. And since we first saw him in a Nottingham Panthers jersey, he's definitely come on leaps and bounds and evolved from just this very, very stay-at-home, physical, fighting defenseman to someone that can actually do a little bit more with the puck and be used in more roles.
Indeed, a lot of Panthers fans like Guy Lepine a lot, and said after he'd left he was possibly the Panthers' biggest loss in the off-season, and there was much excitement in Nottingham when he returned.
Absolutely.
So I think having a good game back there so far.
I think now that Lepine's returned, I think Rob Bellamy was possibly their biggest loss after he's decided to pursue his music career. I believe as the Sheffield Steelers were trying to sign him in the close season. Here is Werner. Interesting that Bellamy's trying to do his music career. I thought he was a much better hockey player than a singer, but here we go. Bayrak fires one wide.
I was very polite there.
You go for a second-round draft pick to the Philadelphia Flyers and go to an unsigned singer-songwriter. I think I know what I'd rather carry on doing. But hey-ho.
This is very true. Fed off, meanwhile, Hirsch, former Danish international, in goal for the Coventry Blaze. It's fed across. A base play goes down. No call, though. And so the Panthers will settle in. Here is the stocky figure of Eric Werner. He'll feed the puck across. Tipped in by Francis. Gallivan will chase. And it'll eventually be poked away for Bayrak if he can get to it. He can't. Jason Beckett gets there first. Gallivan. Francis dumps the puck in. James Griffin has a little bit of time behind the net to settle in. He will allow Mike Egener to screen him and dump the puck in. Unfortunately, unless the Blaze player got a touch on that, that'll be icing. It's waved off.
I think it came off the skate of Bradley rather than his stick, but they let that one go. Here come the Panthers down the left wing.
Doesn't matter as long as you get a touch on it.
Indeed.
It's waved off as Peter Hirsch holds on to a speculative effort from Bruce Graham.
I think it was Brandon Benedict there with a little shot, but yeah, he looked a little uncomfortable coming down that left wing, Brandon Benedict, and the shot reflected that. I don't think he quite got a good lie on the ice on his skates, but hey-ho, 12:56 gone here in the second period. Coventry Blaze still leading by a score of 1-0. It's a tight game. Peter Hirsch is requesting a little bit more water. He's definitely got a sweat on, keeping the Coventry Blaze in this game. And we're just waiting for the face-off as Bruce Graham goes for a little wander.
I think the only reason you wouldn't have a sweat on in this game is if you haven't had a shift, because this game is being played at full-blooded and a very fast pace indeed. Everybody will know there's been a game in tonight, including this man, Matt Beleskey, who tries to get his way around David Ling, doesn't manage to. Now Brandon Benedict, former Belfast Giant, fires a shot on net, padded wide. David Ling, former Columbus Blue Jacket, amongst others. Jason Beckett in unaccustomed territory behind the net. Ling will fire one. Nobody was sure where the puck went. Hirsch certainly wasn't. The whistle went.
There's a good little play by the Nottingham Panthers there, having Ling encroaching on the back door of Peter Hirsch, and when that puck came, he found just enough space to get off that snapshot. It rode up the stick of, I believe, Mike Shute on defence, and that would have been a sure thing goal if it wasn't for the stick work of the Blaze defenceman.
Indeed, we haven't seen much, really, of Anthony Stewart or David Ling, who are the two players who Panthers fans got most excited about in the off-season. Ling has looked like he's had flashes of quality, but his style is very languid, shall we say.
Well, he's 37 years old, Paul, so maybe the age might be creeping up on him a little bit. Here's Stewart. You were mentioning as Myers fires wide.
Now Clark will dump that back in for Matt Myers. Another one of the top British players in the league. Very good British international. It's free and it's there. It's put home by
Stewart.
Anthony Stewart.
It's Stewart. He ties the game up at 1. The NHLer we were just mentioning, as the puck was dropped, and he gets a real easy tap in. He has scored a lot more difficult goals in his career than that one. But nonetheless, this one counts right up there as a game-tying goal. And it was all the work done by his teammates, and Peter Hirsch was sprawling way out of position as the rebound fell right into the middle of the D. So 13:41 gone in the second period of the game, now tied up at 1, Paul.
Indeed, and it'll be interesting to see which team responds better now. Obviously the Blaze were Slightly better. The Panthers fans might now get into it. The Panthers have finally broken the deadlock. It was Anthony Stewart, assisted by Guillaume Lepine. Meanwhile, the puck is free in front of the net as Bradley throws one on net. It's played away. Gallivan goes round Chalmers. Now Rob Lakovic. Gallivan, nice turn by Pat Gallivan. Tries to work his way free again. It's thrown on net. And space for Greg Lieb. Nice pass to Bayrak. He's got a little bit of space down this left-hand side, Bayrak. Throws one on net. Bradley crashing the net. Manages to pick up. Loose puck goes down.
The puck
Picks himself up again.
The puck never really settled for any of the Blaze forwards there. It was bobbling on Bayrak, and then when Lieb got it behind the net, it still didn't sit flat on his stick either. So be interesting to see if this puck is properly frozen. It's bouncing around all over the place.
Indeed, but it's the same puck for both teams. So,
Indeed. But the Panthers have had some problems with it as well. It'll be interesting to watch that one as we go up the ice, as you'll call it, Paul.
Meanwhile, Jason Beckett. Benedict. There's some nice back and forth chants going between the Blaze and Panthers fans. Blaze fans informing the Panthers fans they forgot they were actually in the building. Meanwhile, here goes Shea Guthrie. Finds a bit of space. Beleskey too will pick that one up. No call for the hooking. It's thrown on net. Goes just wide. James Griffin will pick it up. Beleskey is in front of the net. Here is Guthrie. Cameron. Now Beleskey. Fred. Once again, Beleskey keeps it, throws one on the net. It's tipped by Cameron just over the top.
That was a great little bit of heads-up play by Matt Beleskey, just throwing one towards the net. Didn't have much power on it at all, but Dustin Cameron arced his stick, let that one ride up it. A little bit too much angle, and it went over Kowalski. But that's the kind of little play that can score you some goals out of nowhere. If you look away for a minute, just glance down at the guy next to you and look up and the puck's in the back of the net, that's the kind of goal that comes from nowhere. A good little play by the Blaze. And it's those little technical plays you can just see with the class acts of Dustin Cameron and Matt Beleskey, and it's fantastic to see the British game being able to have that kind of thing in it.
Indeed, we'll see as the Panthers work up ice with Matt Myers, who is no slouch himself. Fed for Olsen. Puck is kept in just bit of space, and it's worked away. Stewart, who is, of course, the Panthers' goal scorer, dumps that one in. He's now lurking around the slot area. Now goes for the net. David Clark, meanwhile, behind the net. Feeds it round for Stewart. He's battling with Olsen.
Yeah, I was just keeping an eye on Ben Olsen playing defence. I prefer seeing him as a forward for the Coventry Blaze, Paul, but he's performed admirably tonight in his defensive role. I know in the American League he played predominantly on the wing. He's come into a defensive role here, and there's a little pushing and shoving between Olsen and Stewart.
Indeed, it looks like the officials have stepped in. Stewart decides just to head to the bench and ignore things. Olsen too.
I like that from Ben Olsen. He just gave Stewart a little shove into the boards, gave him a few words as well, and I think that may have caused a reaction. It might have hit a nerve for Anthony Stewart.
I'd imagine that part of the Blazes' plan is to wind up Anthony Stewart and try and get him to do something silly, because obviously they want him off the ice rather than on it as much as possible due to his quality.
Oh, we've seen he's already got a goal tonight, so he has the quality to score. We know this. As Bayrak will play it up for Selby. He'll go for a quick change. As Kowalski will just quite happily keep his glove over that one for a face-off in front of him.
Indeed, and we'll see what's going on. Face-off, boys. Face-off to the right of Kowalski's net as he looks at it. And everyone sorting out line changes, obviously. Blaze have the last change and can only change while the referee's arm is up in front of the bench. Greg Lieb will take the face-off. He'll lose it, however. Puck goes into the corner and is fired round the board. Zegener just thinks that away. Gallivan. Nice cross-ice pass from Gallivan to Francis. Gallivan again. Can't control the puck. It's just poked off his stick. Thankfully for the base, because Gallivan was making his way to the net at some speed. Here goes Bayrak. Can't feed Brad Lieb though. And it'll be fed away for Egener to pick up. Egener for Bayrak. Good cross-ice pass now. Brad Lieb works up, drives one. It goes just wide. Bayrak will pick that one up again. Working his way along the left-hand boards.
You watched that one go wide, Craig Kowalski. He just kind of wafted his blocker at it. Here's a good shot, Brad Lieb.
Now the puck fed once again for Mike Shoot as Ben Olsen steps onto the ice. Shoot still going forward. Good hand from Mike Shoot. Eventually hooked by Benedict, and that'll be a goal.
Oh yes, Brandon Benedict. He doth protest, but that was definitely a hooking minor there. And Mike Shoot, you could just see his leg drag behind him to one side, and that's a sure sign of a hooking. You can't really fake that one. And if you've got the puck in that situation, you wouldn't fake that one, as Benedict was indicating. So the Coventry Blaze will get a power play. 17-14 gone here in the second. And, well, it'll be interesting to see if the Blaze can get their 1-goal lead back here.
Meanwhile, at 17-14 gone in the second period, it's 1-1 here between the Coventry Blaze and the Nottingham Panthers. Goals from Greg Leib for the Blaze and Anthony Stewart for the Panthers. Back with Shoot at the point. Now Bayrak. Puck leaves the zone and Stewart will break away along with Jason Beckett. Matt Myers. Stewart has space, keeps the puck on his stick. Good play, Anthony Stewart. Good save by Peter Hirsch. But that was an example of Anthony Stewart's skill and stick handling then.
Absolutely. I mean, Peter Hirsch didn't even move when he left the shot. He just covered as much of the lower part of the net as he could. Ben Olsen goes into the ball to Lee.
Now Beleskey. Fed for Eggener across the ice. Eggener will throw one on net. It'll hit somebody in front. Gets cleared. 1 minute 22 remaining on this Blaze power play. Hirsch has to spin away from David Clark. Now Cameron. Space for Greg Leib. Fed across.
It's gone behind the net as Paul has a little throat moment, and that's just the excitement of the game showing. I've got a little bit of 7-Up there if you want a little sip, Paul.
Indeed, excuse me, everybody.
Goes behind the net with Leib. Up to his brother Greg. The top of the circle. He hasn't really got many options. He's just hoping his team will move and support his Shoot. Flings one high over the top of Kowalski.
It's tipped into the corner. Got a bit of a frog in my throat then. Now the Blaze fans draw their team on as Brad Leib works his way. Fed across by Guthrie. That'll hit the boards. And Greg Leib instead will try and get to it. Cameron. There's no Blaze player there though, and Lepine will play the puck all the way up the ice. 20 seconds remaining on this Blaze power play towards the final minute of the first period. It's 1-1 here at the Skydome. Once again, puck will be played down the ice. That'll probably kill off the power play, I think, Ed.
Yeah, with the last 5 seconds, the Blaze will just look to try and get it as far up the ice as possible. There's a little bit of a miscommunication on the change. The Blaze get away with no too many men as Kowalski makes a stick save on a speculative effort from Sam Smith. He'll cover that one up with only 40 seconds left in the period. We've not had many. We've only had one more goal, Paul, but it's been an exciting period. A lot of hits, and it's a bit of a battle of the goalies now.
Indeed, it's definitely settling down to a goalie battle in this second period. The Nottingham Panthers have scored the only goal this period thanks to Mike Shoot putting that one through. Now settling in space for Beleskey, fires just wide from nowhere then, and I don't think Kowalski even saw that. Olsen throws one on net now. It's free again, Sam Smith. Olsen lurks, down goes Beleskey, picks himself up, tipped again, and it's just wide.
That's 2 tips Beleskey's had in front of the net, trying to redirect the shots. Olsen, Ling will gate crash him, try and get that one away. Leib, Smith fans.
It's a delayed penalty meanwhile, there is the whistle.
But that was fantastic play by Matt Beleskey as Olsen gets a little shove in the face. Didn't see which Panther that was, but I think he's just laughed it off, Ben Olsen. But yeah, as I was saying, Paul, 2 tips in front of net by Matt Beleskey, and a shot as well, his 5th shot of the night. He was jumping over sticks and skates. It's like an obstacle course you'd expect it, like the scouts or the military training, but he managed to get a shot of anyway, and that was fantastic play by the Anaheim Duck. And the Blaze will get themselves a well-deserved power play as we just wait for the teams to get their power play and penalty kill lines out. I think the teams are starting to tire at the end of this period. There's definitely some longer strides coming in from some of the players.
Indeed, it's David Ling who will sit the penalty. Craig Kowalski receives the penalty. David Ling will sit it. So 12 seconds remaining in the second period. The Blaze will finish the period on the power play. And seems to be some consultation between the officials and Guillaume Lepine, but now will be off and running. Face-off is won by the Panthers. There's confusion from both sides as the whistle goes there.
I don't think Greg Lieb argued too much as the puck was played through him by Matt Myers, but they will line up for the face-off and probably one more shot. Corey Nielsen is very happy with that call.
Face-off is won by the Panthers, cleared by Lepine. That'll probably just about kill off the second period. It'll be something special for Mike Shute to get up there. Peter Hirsch nearly plays himself into trouble with Matt Francis lurking, but the buzzer goes. I
think we just saw there why Peter Hirsch was a goalie in his career. Not the best of stick handling from the netminder, but hey, he did a job as he gets a tap of appreciation from tough guy Ben Olsen. So we go into the end of the second period, game tied at 1-1 to play for in the third period. And Paul, another exciting period of hockey. And these two teams just don't quit, do they?
They don't. It's going to be at least another exciting period of hockey. I can see this game going beyond the regulation 60 minutes. As the Genting Casino Coventry Blaze versus the Nottingham Panthers. A game that is delicately poised. It couldn't be even any more delicately poised. 1-1 at the moment here at the Sky Dome between the Blaze and the Panthers. Ed, how do you see this third going?
Well, it's so difficult to tell, Paul. I mean, in all the games that I've watched and commentated on, I can't predict this one at all. I mean, last year, if the Coventry Blaze had the same attitude as they had this year, I'd say if the Panthers got in front, then that would be curtains. But this year, it doesn't. I don't think it really matters who scores the first goal, because I think the other team will have just as much of a chance of coming from behind. And I think it's a fantastic team effort from both teams. I mean, Kowalski's done a great job in net. Peter Hirsch has done a great job for the Blaze as well. The defence have been holding strong, not giving the other team's forwards much of a chance. And as both teams have such a stacked offensive lineup, it's really, really great to see that the goalies are managing to stand tall, earn their paychecks, and keep it at a 1-1 game, because usually I think this game would possibly be, well, I don't know whether it be double figures by now, but it would definitely be 6 or 7 goals gone. But in the third and final period of regulation anyway, your guess is as good as mine. Honestly, it would be a guess.
We'll see what happens then. Blaze will start the period on a power play very swiftly before the game starts. Hello to Tim Seaton, who is Brad Leib's father-in-law. He is the only member of the Leib family not here. Emily Leib and her family, Brad's wife, are sat over there somewhere in Block 6. So there they are, Tim, for you. Hope you're enjoying the game back there in Canada.
Absolutely, and I know that Brad Leib's wife's been looking to come over for quite a while, and I think she had some problem with the family visa for her to travel over, and she was a little bit frustrated, and she watched a few of the Coventry Blaze webcasts and chatted to us on the Twitter feed and was really excited to be here. So it's great that she's managed to get over and see her brother and her brother-in-law play for the Coventry Blaze. So we're moments away from
husband and brother-in-law.
Excuse me, husband and brother-in-law. As we wait for the start of the third and final period. The atmosphere is as electric as when the game started, and we are going to see Matt Francis and Brad Leib wait for the face-off. Greg Leib wait for the face-off.
Indeed, it's a power play line for the Blaze. Obviously, penalty at the end of the last period to Nottingham. There you go, there's the noise. The Blaze pride themselves somewhat after a fan of the Guelph Storm came over last year, Tim Kingsbury. We had him on the webcast and introduced the Blaze crowd to the concept of Cowbell Nation, which is what the dingling you can hear. We are the British branch of Cowbell Nation, apparently.
We're a proud affiliate of Cowbell Nation in Guelph in Ontario, Canada. And hey, it's gone down a storm here in Coventry, Cowbell Nation. Little joke there. Here's Greg Leib down the right wing side, battling with Guy Lepine. Little and large there as it squirts into Peter Hirsch's zone. He will play it out for Dustin Cameron. Here is Brad Leib. Tries to get around Beckett.
A bit nervous few seconds for the Blaze then. Brandon Benedict was coming in at speed on that one. Don't forget, you can still contact us on @Blaze Webcast or @Fourth Line Wing. Either of those we'll be checking the Blaze Webcast Twitter feed periodically when we can. Meanwhile, there's a collision between Brad Leib and
there's Anthony Stewart there with a little hit at centre ice. Here is Shoot. Flings one on net. Kowalski wasn't expecting that and just managed to get enough on it to play it into the corner. Here is Mike Shoot.
He does like to range forward, does Mike Shoot. Nominally a defenseman, but he's outscored a lot of the more heralded forwards in the league so far. Very, very good offensive defenseman indeed.
Absolutely. Reminds me of a little bit of a less physical Dustin Wood from last year with a little bit better offensive skills. As Leib throws it behind the net. Oh, and that's a speculative pass looking for one of the Blaze. It's bounced off the boards. Here comes Ling. He managed to get round Bayrak. He made that look easy. And a big pad save by Peter Hirsch. Well done by the Dane. No, that was really lackadaisical defending from Mike Bayrak. Let David Ling just waltz round him.
Indeed, superb save from Peter Hirsch then. David Ling showing some of the talent that we all heard about at the start of the season. Here goes Beleskey. Tries to feed Bayrak out in front, doesn't manage to do so. Bayrak shrugs off a challenge. Beleskey now feeds Sam Smith. Both teams are back to full strength. Smith is shoved to the ice. Puck is cleared and will leave the zone, be picked up by Egener. Egener spins for Beleskey to turn. Got a bit of space to turn the Jets on, Matt Beleskey. Can't work his way through though. Ends up getting tangled up with a Panther. Just dumps him on his backside as the Panthers come the other way. It's padded away by Hirsch. Beleskey is still lurking, wants a pass. Sam Smith elects to go with it and dumps it in. Beleskey will go for a change. Here's Beckett for the Panthers. Chased by Dale White. Beckett dumps that one in hard. It's padded away by Hirsch for Chalmers. Now Selby.
I've got to say, Paul, I've been watching Matt Beleskey obviously very keenly as he plays his first game for the Coventry Blaze. For a guy who's not played hockey in a good 5 months, he absolutely is not missing a stride. He really is in good shape. He's not blown after any shift. He's not gone red in the face, and I think he is a testament to the NHL conditioning coaches that he's taken it in his stride here at the Elite League level.
Indeed, he's stepping back onto the ice, Beleskey, along with what appears to be his solid set line mates of Dustin Cameron and Shea Guthrie. Shea Guthrie, former New York Islanders draft pick, so he got quite close to the show. Arguably would have gone much further in his hockey career, but for injury.
Absolutely, I think that's for certain, Paul. He only played a handful of games last year, and the year before he only played a few more. But I think we were talking about it last year. The Islanders don't have his rights anymore, as they didn't elect to sign him to a contract. But I mean, if he can light up the league this year and stay healthy, and I'm pretty sure it might be worth a look because he's still only very, very early mid-20s, and could certainly come in as a vet player and do a job in the American League. Here is Shea. It'll be a big loss to the Blazers. The captain shoots, as we were just talking about him, into the pads of Werner. Good block by Werner, the defenseman.
It was Beleskey then who threw one on net, tipped wide. Hit avoided by Cameron. Beleskey is there as well. He just seems to be everywhere, the Blaze number 39. Shoot now.
Well, much like the last Coventry Blaze player to wear number 39 in Danny Stewart, who also buzzed around the ice like an angry hornet.
Indeed, it's a fairly famous number in Coventry, the number 39, worn by Danny Stewart with distinction for many years. Shot, meanwhile, it's patted down and eventually cleared. I wasn't sure where the puck had gone in front of the net, hence the pause. It's a good vantage point here at the Sky Dome, but sometimes the perspective does shorten it a bit with those battles in front of the net. Shoved now by Brad Lee. Fed on the boys, the Blaze crowd again. Try and make some noise as Gallivan lays one off nicely. Stevie Lee has to just poke the puck into the board. Shoot takes a baseball swing and misses it. Now it's Bayrak. Bradley wants a pass. Unfortunately for the Blaze, he can't pull it in. We heard his call for the pass up here. It's with Jason Beckett. Now Stevie Lee. Long pass from Stevie Lee, brought down nicely by Matt Francis, works his way into the zone. It's poked away well by Stephen Chalmers.
Great D by Chalmers. He dropped to one knee to take away the shot, swung his stick to take away any potential move by Francis. That was really good D from the youngster, and it paid off as the Blaze regained possession there. And that's just exactly the kind of little glimpse of brilliance that Paul Thompson's kept Stephen Chalmers at the Elite League level for. We saw him excel for Dundee last year, and Tomo saw something that he liked as well. Here's Guy Lepine. So he'll make a breakout pass to the right wing. It was speculative, and it will turn it back over to Stephen Chalmers' ball.
You've got to say that this Blaze team has been very short-benched, and we haven't seen the best of it so far this season. I think we're now starting to see, with Matt Beleskey, a little more of exactly what this Blaze team is made of. Beleskey is definitely in the hunt for man of the match so far
for sure.
This evening. Tweet Blaze webcast, and we'll start thinking about picking possible man of the matches. It's fed off the boards again and touched up by the Panthers for icing. So 6 minutes exactly gone in the third period. 14 minutes of regulation remaining. If this game remains, there will be 5 minutes of 4-on-4, followed by a shootout if it gets that far.
A quick little shout out to Sophie Ann, who on Twitter said her big hello to the Skinner family at home. They're watching the game, they're loving it, and they are saying go Blaze go. And we'll see what they can do here in the third period. 6 minutes 5 gone as Beckett gives Sam Smith a big shove from behind.
Indeed,
didn't expect that one. Here is Egener.
Indeed, that was borderline there. Egener will throw one on net. Meanwhile, Werner plays it away, picks the book up again. Werner, stocky little player. He's quietly impressed me, Eric Werner has so far this evening. Looks very steady on defence for the Panthers. Tapped up, meanwhile, by Cameron. The puck is outside the zone, so Beckett has to dawdle a little while his teammates leave the zone. Now he's still got it. Good play by Jason Beckett.
Yeah,
He'll dump that back in, and it will be negated, the icing. Or will it? No, whistle goes, in fact.
They've called it, and I think there's going to be a few groans from the Panthers there. But yeah, you were saying that was good work from Jason Beckett. I must say, Paul, I do agree, because he had a very hungry and angry Shea Guthrie hacking and chopping at him, trying to get the puck off him. And Shea Guthrie is a player who impresses mainly. Obviously, he's got the skill to do it, but he keeps his feet moving. And that's where a lot of players fall short, is in their stride. And Guthrie keeps his feet moving, even when he's blowing and he's red in the face. And that's one of the reasons that he's been so successful, and one of the reasons that Paul Thompson made him captain, because that just shows his work ethic.
We'll see now. Greg Leib, another hard-working player, wins the face-off. Back to Mike Shute, just manages to keep it in. Throws one on net. There's a scrum in front of Craig Kowalski's cage. It's fed across for Brad Leib.
Nice.
On the balls for Bayrak. Back to Brad Leib. He can't pull the puck in though, so Bayrak will have to have another bite of the cherry. Leib goes round the net. Can't get a shot off though, as his stick is hacked. Legally.
Yeah.
Just in the last few seconds, good defensive work from the Panthers.
Yeah, that was Matt Myers there with a little backstick on Brad Leib, who just showed a little bit of class there. As he really got a chance on the wraparound. As another wraparound might occur here. It's thrown in front. It's off one of the Blaze. It's shot by Mike Bayrak. And a good save by Craig Kowalski. Fantastic attempt by the Blaze. And they're definitely looking to work the puck behind the goal line against Craig Kowalski and try and unsight him. And that was a fantastic attempt by the Blaze. And the Leib brothers, well, they're like Tweedledee and Tweedledum. They just seem to know where each other are on the ice at all times, Paul.
Indeed, they are trying to move Craig Kowalski round. He's a very good goalie, but he's not the most mobile at times. So they're trying to move around. Meanwhile, Hull lead Dundee 1-0. Sheffield lead Belfast 2-1 elsewhere. And Edinburgh lead Fife 2-0 in the other games going on in the Elite League so far this evening. We had a tweet earlier on from a viewer asking whether we thought Panthers Steelers was bigger than this one. Certainly off ice with hype it may be, but I think there are no two teams in the league that hate each other more than the Blaze and the Panthers at the moment, and it's games like this that show why. It's on an absolute knife edge. Here goes Lakovic, who will work his way through and fire a shot, padded away by Hirsch. Ross Venus does well to lift a stick. Werner will pick it up at the red line, works his way back into the zone. Egener. Now Cameron.
Well, that was a bad pass. That was a really poor pass by Cameron. Looked to just have no options, didn't know what to do. Fortunately, Bruce Graham couldn't do anything with it. Mark Levers will get it back. He's getting hassled by Beleskey. Great play by Matt Beleskey. Throws one in front. And a good poke check by one of the Nottingham Panthers defensemen. Didn't see who it was. I think it might have been Bruce Graham. But what a fantastic bit of play by Matt Beleskey on the forecheck. And that's just exactly what he does night in, night out in the NHL.
Indeed, he does look a class act so far, does Matt Beleskey. Anthony Stewart has scored, but he hasn't shown quite as much, in my opinion, so far. Beleskey has been the better of the two NHLers.
Interesting tweet from James Whitehead. No way will Beleskey be man of the match. He's been really good, but Hirsch and Egener have been brilliant as well. Well, that's a good point. Hirsch and Egener have been fantastic, but Matt Beleskey leads the Coventry Blaze in shots so far tonight. As a shot goes in, it's dug away. There's going to be a goal. They're going to call it. Is it going to be Beleskey who's given it? I didn't see who got the final touch.
The goal light goes on very late, but it has been given.
Well, Tom Darnell pointed to the cage. He saw it go in. I don't know whether it was Dustin Cameron or Matt Beleskey that got the final touch. Shea Guthrie certainly went straight over to the Anaheim Duck, but I think it is going to be Dustin Cameron who claims it. We shall see what the official call is. If we had a replay, we might be able to see.
Indeed, we'll see if we can. Sadly, we can't catch the replay on this one.
I'll tell you what, Paul, I'm getting a little bit hot under the collar here.
As well. I was panicking for a second.
It's okay.
Meanwhile,
don't worry about that, Paul. We've got enough to worry about on the ice. Coventry
Indeed.
Blaze 2, Nottingham Panthers 1. 8:36 gone here in the third period. And boy, oh boy, can you smell smoke, Paul, because this is a real barn burner.
indeed, we'll wait for confirmation of who it was. It's an even-handed goal. It's Dustin Cameron, number 20. Here goes Matt Myers, meanwhile, fed to the back post, and great save, Peter Hirsch. That could have been 2 each. That was Anthony Stewart again.
That was a big save from Peter Hirsch. Absolutely brilliant save on a 2-on-1.
Seeing the disc is going back. And the puck will work its way through. It works its way fed away. And there will be pause for a few seconds as Beckett will try and work his way through. Now fed away. Collected by Ling. Griffin. Crosswise pass for Greg Lieb. Goes down, Greg Lieb. It looked like he just fell awkwardly rather than any collision between him and Beckett. Here's Bradley fed. Again, shot saved by Kowalski. Puck is behind the net with Mike Shoot. Greg Lieb goes in. Bradley keeps that one in. Greg Lieb tries to dig the puck out of the corner. Manages to do so. Fed across. Collected by one of the base players. It was Bayrak. Now Shoot lays that one off. Bradley. Greg Lieb. Bayrak and Stevie Lee will get to this one and fire it up the ice. It beats Shoot, icing is waved off.
Yeah.
Griffin will go and collect.
Definitely took a little deflection off the shaft of his stick as David Ling lands a hit on James Griffin. It's backhanded into the zone. Kowalski will chase it with Guthrie. Nervy moment for the Nottingham netminder. They've recovered well. Here's Guy Lepine. He will fire a nice cross-ice pass. That's a great pass by Lepine. Francis goes in and fires just wide of Peter Hirsch's far pipe and a redirection in front. I think that came off Gallivan. Nervy moments now for the Coventry Blaze netminder as Eggener lands a hit. I think he's going to be called for that illegally though.
Indeed,
he's not very happy. Holding's the call. And I think Mike Eggener is not a happy bunny. So this has given the Nottingham Panthers a fantastic chance to get back in this one. They get a 2-minute power play, 10 minutes 55 gone here in the third period. It's the Genting Coventry Casino. Coventry Blaze 2, the Nottingham Panthers 1. And I think Tom Donnell just having a little word down there with Paul Thompson. Just having a little look. It's dug out by Griffin. He'll clear it out the zone. That'll kill a little bit of time. Clark will find Ling, and he will advance now across the blue line. David Ling. Hooked by Cameron. Werner, he's got some space at the top of the circle. Likes to pass. Shot goes in off the chest of Hirsch, and a rebound is off the skate of Ben Olsen. It never made it through to the Dane.
I did think that one was snuck in for a second there off the rebound. Here is Ling who throw one on net. It'll go over the top of the net, short side. The Blades are on the penalty kill. Of course, here is Gallivan. David Ling. Olsen hits Gallivan but moves out of position briefly. Now Bayrak will pick that one up and just fire it up the ice to kill a little more time. It'll be collected. That's bad play by Kowalski. Good play by Matt Beleskey on the penalty kill. Nervy moment or two then.
It's definitely been the pick of the NHLers on the ice tonight, Paul, as you mentioned. His work ethic tonight has been superb. Here's Graham. Big sentiment for the Nottingham Panthers. Francis goes round, fires one, a nice speculative pass. Bruce Graham was beaten to it by the stick of Matt Beleskey. Stewart behind the net, battling with Chalmers. Good job by young Stevie Chalmers. 40 seconds left of Nottingham Panthers power play. It's cleared away. And the Panthers might have enough time for one more offense if they can get it up ice quick. Here's Stevie Lee. Through the neutral zone, chips in the corner. Olsen will get rid of that one quickly. And that was a good little bit of play by Ben Olsen to kill a little bit more time on this Panthers power play, Paul.
Indeed, Kowalski collects. And it'll be fed for Stevie Lee to work his way up the ice for the Nottingham Panthers. It's fed into the corner, collected by Myers. Levers manages to keep it in. Throws one on net. It's blocked by Greg Lee. And the penalty is over for the Coventry Blaze. They're back to full strength. Now collected by Myers. Good shielding of the puck there. Fed off again. It'll be collected by Clark. Thrown on net. Now shot. Hits somebody in front.
Oh.
And that looked very nasty indeed.
That did. I didn't see which player that hit, but he's gone down like he's been shot. And I think that might be James Griffin. Yeah, it is James Griffin. He gets up. And I think that one might have caught him on the side of the head. It's a good job he's wearing a helmet, because that could have been really nasty if we were in the old days. There's some concerned looks on the Blaze bench, but he's a tough kid. James Griffin, it caught his ear. He's indicating down there, but it was, as that shot came off the tape of the defenseman, everyone just seemed to hit the deck. It was like a volley of gunfire had gone over the top of them. So we are 13 minutes and 11 seconds gone here in the third period and final period of regulation. Genting Casino, Coventry Blaze 2, Nottingham Panthers 1. Here's Guthrie. Fires one off the skate of Lepine. Cameron whips it round. It's going to be chased by Beleskey. He'll pick it up, wearing his Anaheim Mighty Ducks gloves. Lepine battling with Guthrie in the corner. Good job by Guthrie lifting the big Canadian stick. And Bruce Graham will get it away. Oh, it's Beleskey. He has a backhand out of nowhere. It goes up into the netting off Kowalski. But I think they're going to call this as a face-off outside the zone, however. Well, that's an interesting one.
Indeed, it's another example of the Everton Matt Beleskey really does fancy a goal on his debut here. And he keeps throwing the puck on net. Every chance he gets. As we
let's have a little pause here for the face-off as Guthrie will dig it out. Whipped around the boards by Stephen Chalmers. Chasing to the corner, Beckett will beat Cameron to it. He'll get it to Werner. The Panthers pegged into their zone at the minute. They'll manage to get out. And it's taken away by Chalmers. Great job on defence by Stevie Chalmers. And now here comes Guthrie. Plays it up to Cameron. He's hit by Beckett as he dumps it. Beleskey watches. Rob Lakovitz manages to go round him, but catches a bit of a Panther that slowed him down, and they will get it up now with Gallivan. And he'll backhand it in for them to chase Paul.
He will. Eggener will pick that one up, and he'll try and play the puck along the boards. The Blaze third line out. Blaze leading 2-1. We're moving towards the final 5 minutes of regulation here at the Skydome on Coventry Blaze TV. Now it'll be picked up by Guillaume Lepine, who throws one on net. Shoot is caught out. Myers will get to that one first of all, and he'll try and play one around the boards for Eggener. Eggener now. Now for Greg Leib. Spins away from a check then, and Selby's in there as well. Matt Myers goes full length.
They got all out of shape trying to land that hit, Matt Myers, and that could have been ugly for either player. Unfortunately, Leib got out of the way, and I'm a big fan of Matt Myers, but he has got a bit of a tendency of going into hits all higgledy-piggledy. It's caused a few injuries to himself and other players doing so, but...
well, the puck has made its way back up the ice for a face-off to the offensive zone for the Blaze. We'll wait to see who settles in on this one. It is Greg Leib who will win the face-off. Now Anthony Stewart lays it behind the net for Stevie Lee. Brad Lee pressures Lee, battles away. Lee can't clear it. Good turnover then, and shot from Greg Leib. That's a good block from Matt Myers, who goes full length, and that could have been nasty.
Yeah, a diving block by Matt Myers, who went head first into that one. As the Panthers players check each other, this gives the Blaze a 3-on-3 chance. Shot comes in just wide of Kowalski by little Greg Leib. He'll go around the boards with Lepine, trying to come away with possession. Lepine plays the body, pushes him up against the boards, gives him a little shove in the back, and another, oh, and that could have been nasty. The arms of the referee stay down.
Brad Leib is in there holding Lepine. The puck is meanwhile is way over. Now the team on a holding call. There's no holding call. The Blaze fans not impressed with that one, and everyone picks themselves up and play goes on. Eggener. Stewart tries to fight his way through a hit from Eggener. That's two big lads colliding. Now Olsen. Bayrak plays it off the boards. Doesn't manage to get it out though. Greg Leib does. The puck leaves the zone. Anthony Stewart will try and feed it back in. Bayrak can't pull his puck in. Now Eggener will chase it in. Chased by Bruce Graham. Graham nudges Eggener into the boards. Battling away in the corner.
Game livening up again, Paul, with the hits on this shift being thrown as Benedict and Olsen tussle in the corner.
Indeed, the Panthers desperate to get back in the game, obviously, with only one goal. Olsen spins away. Here's David Ling. Puck over there in the corner. Ling fights his way free. Fed across, padded away now. Graham. Just dumps that one back in. Up goes the chank. Come on, New Blaze, as Graham tries to keep the puck in at the point. We're moving towards the final 3.5 minutes now. Still, Blaze lead 2-1 thanks to a goal from Dustin Cameron. Bradley goes down, ends up at the feet of Mark Levers. Eventually, everyone picks themselves up. Blaze top line back on the ice now.
Beleskey having a little hook at Rob Lakovitz there. Those two have been chipping each other for most of the period. Here's Gallivan on the boards. Pressurised by Cameron. Beckett will fire one. It's in the skates of Mike Shute. And he managed to see it and get it clear. Well, the Panthers were zoning in on that one, Paul. It was like a homing beacon.
Indeed, it'll be fed away now. And we'll see what Jason Beckett can do as he sets up behind his own zone. Now working his way up the ice, Beckett. Puck is fed along the boards again. It'll be collected. And the Panthers will go offside as the puck crosses the blue line.
So 17-24 gone here in the third period. The final period of tonight's game of regulation, and this is a really close one, Paul. We're seeing two teams not quitting, even with, 2.5 minutes left. It's only a 1-goal game, and this still could go either way. And we'll just have a little look at the Twitter and see what's going on. Maybe we can get some scores from elsewhere, Paul.
I was going to say we've got the latest scores. It's still Sheffield leading Belfast, Edinburgh leading Fife, and Hull are also leading in the scores from elsewhere.
I didn't know there was a Scottish, an Island of Scotland team, the Isle of Mull.
We'll see if we can. Yeah, Hull are leading Dundee in the other game in this one. They're almost Scotland. Meanwhile, David Clark will pick that up for the Nottingham Panthers over in this near side corner. He'll feed Stevie Lee, gets a pass back along the half boards. Pressured now, Anthony Stewart throws it in front. Hurst pokes it away. It's won by the Panthers though. This is a nice work indeed by Jason Beckett. Feeds Stevie Lee. 2 minutes remaining in the game. Anthony Stewart throws one on there. It goes just wide. There's space in front. If David Clark can get the shot off, he can't. Desperation defence here from the Blaze. They're just collapsing in front of the net. Mike Shute, Ross Venus is battling away in front of the net. The shot's fired. It's just wide, and Griffin will fire that out of the zone.
David Clark and Ross Venus were throwing some elbows and cross-checks at each other. That was a really bit of physical battle there between Ross Venus and David Clark. Clark came off the better, but here comes Guthrie. Chips that one over the Blaze bench, and the whistle goes. This one is really heating up as it goes into the final minute and a half, Paul. And, well, I don't think anyone are going to be leaving early to get quick to the car park tonight.
Indeed, I'm keeping an eye on Craig Kowalski as well, because we're getting towards goalie pulling time for the Nottingham Panthers. 18:33 gone, so 1 minute 27 remaining in this game. At this particular point in time, that could be extended if the Panthers score, obviously. Here goes now Werner. He will feed a nice pass for Lepine. Graham works his way up ice. He's been fairly anonymous, Bruce Graham, in this game so far. He'll try and dig the puck out of the corner as the Blaze fans try and maul them home. Graham gets a shot off its face for Werner. Goes right across the face of the goal. And if Graham had scored, then he would have made it look very silly.
Absolutely, Paul. He was wide open, and Matt Beleskey jumped off his point man that he was covering to land a hit and just put him off his stride and did enough. Here's Benedict. Last minute of play. Peter Hurst will cover it as two Blaze players go sprawling.
And now Craig Kowalski has left his net, so it's an empty net at the Nottingham Panthers end of the arena. We'll see where we go with face-offs. But I'd say there's been several candidates for Panthers man of the match. I think Eric Werner's a decent choice for the Panthers. Possibly as well Anthony Stewart. Meanwhile, timeout is scored by the Panthers, and as is traditional, there's a whole lot of noise being made by the packed Skydome to try and prevent the Nottingham Panthers getting any communication through to them.
Absolutely.
This is a Skydome tradition, this.
Oh, the cowbells are ringing loud and proud, aren't they, Paul? That's a noise that's going to off-put you. And this is a really electric atmosphere still. And I love it when hockey games go down to the last minute 1-goal games. The It'll be interesting to see who the Coventry Blaze put out in this situation, who the Nottingham Panthers will put out in this situation. I imagine they'll try and go for some big bodies and try and stick them out in front of net, and possibly Anthony Stewart would be my pick as the extra man, as he indeed does skate out. The Blaze are going to go with Olsen, Egener, Greg Leib, Mike Bayrak and Brad Leib. So this is going to be a last throw of the dice from Corey Nielsen. But will it pay off? We'll see.
Indeed, the Nottingham Panthers go out with Anthony Stewart, Bruce Graham, David Ling, Eric Werner, Stevie Lee, and also as the extra forward over the far side is Dave Clark. Here is Werner, throws one on net, padded wide. And it's Matt Myers, in fact. All the Panthers go piling in towards the net, working around, desperately trying to dig the puck out.
Well, the Blaze are using Ben Olsen in front of net to try and clear any screening players, as Bayrak will chip that one out. It won't go anywhere near the cage. Brad Leib will chase Werner to it, though.
Indeed, final 20 seconds remaining. The puck is in the Panthers zone. They've got to get up the ice quickly if they want to equalise. The Blaze fans trying to clap their team home, poked away by Bayrak. And now the Panthers once again try and work across, intercepted by Brad Leib. He'll put one home, and that is the game winner for the Coventry Blaze. 5 seconds remaining, and the silent assassin Brad Leib wins the game for the Coventry Blaze, 3-1.
Oh yes, Paul. That was a fantastic bit of play by Mike Bayrak on that last shift. And honestly, Brad Leib will get the goal, but all credit's got to go to Mike Bayrak for their work on that last shift. And the Nottingham Panthers fans have decided enough's enough. They're leaving. And it's game over here at the Sky Dome. We've just got the customary last 5 seconds. And oh my goodness, what a game it's been. Such a good game tonight, Paul. I'm speechless.
Indeed, it's been an absolute stormer of a game, and the result has come out in favour of the Coventry Blaze as Brad Leib finishes the night off with an empty net goal from all of about 8 feet out. Shea Guthrie puts the thing on it by winning the face-off, and there's your final hooter, and you can hear what that means to the Sky Dome Arena. Roars of joy from the 3,000 or so Coventry Blaze fans in here as they celebrate a 3-1 victory over their big rivals, the hated Nottingham Panthers.
Absolutely, and oh my goodness, Paul, what a great game to call as well from up here at our vantage point. And what a fantastic debut for Matt Beleskey as well. He got into a scrap and made his presence very much well known all night. I don't know whether he'll get man of the match. He's certainly thrown his hat into the ring for it, as has Mike Egener, also getting into a scrap and cropping up here with some big hits. And you know what, this has just been, and it's just epitomised the Blaze team effort this season. No disrespect to the Nottingham Panthers, they showed up, they played well, but I think maybe the Blaze, who didn't have a game last night, just had the little bit of fresher legs to see it down the stretch.
Indeed, but that's not taken away from the Blaze. It was a fantastic performance from first hooter to last against a very good Nottingham Panthers team. And it has to be said that the Panthers played their part in this game. They were part of it for right up towards the end. The game was only finally made safe with Brad Leib's empty netter. But what a performance from the Coventry Blaze here. And what a debut for Matt Beleskey.